Hello and welcome, and let's go over the results from my computer programming today when looking at the Bitcoin cross against the US dollar and situations and how it is doing within its long-term, mid-term, and short-term moving average. The first column with 000, this tells me that it's above all three moving averages, the short-term, medium, and long-term. I'm using a 7-day, a 21, and a 63. So I multiply 7 times 3 and 21 times 3. And regardless of what you use, if you use like anything in that area, 8, 25, it's 75, just a little bit higher each time, and you get similar results, I would think. So this is when you're over the short-term moving average, so you're over the 7-day, over the 21, but under the long term, and so on and so forth. So some pretty interesting results. It seems as if there are two great situations you want to be long, one big situation you want to be short, and the other 5 are relatively meaningless, with one being small negative loss, but overall just small moves. This one is the magnificent one. There has been 339 up days and 231 down days when the price action is above it. So say you look at the end of the day, oh, we have all of them over it. So when a new day starts, this is what the net results are. But on average, the market goes up 1% when it is above those moving averages. And this one here, where it's 0.56%, 55 up days, 53 down days. So it's a 50-50 chance, at least historically, over a moderately okay sample size, and a decent size sample on the fact when they're all over it. This is 600 days or such when it's above this, and it's averaging 0.95% over a 600-day sample. That's incredible. But back to this one. It's over a short-term average, which is over the 7. It's under a 21, and it's over a 63. That means long-term it's in a nice bull market with the 63 rising. That means with the 7 rising, it is doing well on the short term. And within 21 days, it has been in a correctionary down move for it to have to be below it. So it makes sense that this situation would be very good. I'll get to the UOO final at the final end, but I do find it interesting when all of the when the action is under all of this, that there are more up days than down days. It's marginally just marginal gains at 0.04% per day. The volatility we can see is enormous when price action is under the short term and mid-term moving averages. So if it's under the 7 and 21 day average, the volatility is at its largest and at its third highest. And here is when it's above all of them. All the other ones are relatively the lowest at 3.7 to 3.9%. Now let's talk about this one here. 120 up days, 88 down days, down negative 0.6%. Is this just variance that it had 3, 4, 5, 6 horrible days in this situation? Maybe. But you're in a situation where you are under a short-term moving average of the 7-day. And yet you are over all the more longer term ones, which means you're in a bull market starting to roll over within a situation like this. So I find that one very interesting. So these are the net results, which goes to show you that the best time to be long is when you are above a short-term and a long-term moving average. For this one here, when you were above the short midterm but under a long term, that means you are not in a bull market in the long-term time frame. So short and midterm, you're trying to revert it. So the success rate, quite frankly, hasn't been so strong, because even in these situations, just to get out of it, you're going to have like maybe just small gains, like 6% days, more often than on the more volatile situations. So the next step is to put this information against Bitcoin. This is going to be really, really cool. I'm probably going to categorize them, meaning the majors will be in the same group. The Dash, the Ethereum, the Litecoin, the Moneros. And then I'll do it with the wild-based coins, the ones with less volume, practically everything else that's not in the top 10, 12, 15. So that's how I'm going to do that. Get as much data as I can. I'll get a lot more with like dozens and dozens and dozens of codes. But this could sure help a heck of a lot when trading, of course, the altcoins against Bitcoin. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day.